So here we go. My next guest, I'm delighted to say, is Southend United star Ollie Kensdale. Ollie, can you hear me? You okay?
Yeah, all good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. How did training go today? How's it all looking for the game tomorrow?
Yeah, it was a wet one today, so but yeah, all good. Good to see a couple of boys back in training, which is good, and just really preparing for a hard test tomorrow.
Yeah, and how much are you sort of looking forward to getting out there for the game and bouncing back from the FA Cup last weekend? It was a tough one, wasn't it? But understandable with the players that we had missing.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing about football, isn't it? You always have a chance to get back and sort of forget about last week. So disappointing one, bit of a tricky one, I think. Obviously, you know what it's like FA Cup when you go to a league below, they're flying and they get an early goal and all of a sudden you're up against it. So we didn't help ourselves in that fact, but again, good experience, especially for them young boys, which is always good to see a young couple of lads getting their debut. So, but now it's all focused on the league and sort of carrying on that mini run we've got at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at your career, obviously, we know you play for another team in Essex. I know we'll say it's Colchester. And obviously, you came through and got let go from there. And that's a tough side of football, isn't it? When you're at a club like that, just take us back to that moment. Just how difficult was it you've done it successfully, but how difficult was it to look to rebuild your career at that point?
Yeah, it is really tough, to be honest. Whether or not you sort of get told that news at 15, 16 or at 20 when I did, still had for 18 months left on my contract when I got told. So I kind of knew it and I kind of did want it to happen because.
Oh, it's still there yet? I think you're on mute, mate. Can you? Are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah. So carry on.
Can you see me? Is it all good?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was 20. Going back to it, I was 20. I had 18 months left on my deal. So I kind of knew it was happening. And I wanted it to happen. So it was kind of a weird situation, but it's never a nice one. It was the first time I'd kind of been told no in my career because I've been there since 8. So it was tough to process, and you never really get that feeling. You always prepare yourself, but till it actually happens. So it was hard to take, and to be honest with you, I wasn't really looking to carry on with football. I had a couple of offers in this league, and I turned them down in the end, just because I wanted to sort of look into other ways going forward and enjoy my football again, which I managed to do at Concord. And I kind of played with a couple of mates there, and I really started to get the love back for it. So I would say I fell out of love when I did leave Colchester with the game. But you know, it's part of the journey, and everyone's journey is different. So it's something that's made me stronger, and I think it's made me a better player.
Yeah. So was Concord where you fell back in love with football then? How important was that in your sort of footballing journey?
100%. Massive. I think, you know, everyone around the Southend area knows of the clubs around Southend, and Concord's a great little club, one of many around Southend. And for me, it was just feeling wanted again, I think, which can be something that's maybe not massive in football, I think, because if you've got a squad of 25, the manager can only pick 11, and that's no fault of the manager. It's the way of football works. So sometimes when you can't get in a team and you know you can get down, you can beat yourself up, especially as a young lad when you haven't had them experiences. But just going and play football and sort of feeling wanted again, I think, was massive. And all the people that were associated with Concord at that time made me really fall back in love with the game. So I find it I always look back at it as a key part of my career.
Yeah. And when did you find out about Southend's interest? When did that all materialise? And I know, obviously, in true Southend fashion, it took quite a while to go through. I remember you suddenly appearing on the pitch, running up and down at Notts County, and you had to wait to sign. So when did you start hearing that the Blues were interested in you?
To be honest, I knew of a couple of other clubs that had previously put in a bid, and I wasn't so sure of it. And then I had a phone call just off my agent saying that I've had a meeting and a phone call off John Still. Southend are really interested in signing you. So I was interested, like I'd done with the other clubs. I spoke to my agent, spoke to the club. John sort of said where the club were looking to go, and before you know it, I think that was sort of the Thursday. They got in contact with Concord, sorted out the deal, and by Monday, I think, or Tuesday, I was in. So it happened really quickly, and I think that was good. I didn't know about the embargo when I did sign, so it was a bit of a shock, and I was like, "What's going on here?" I'd seen the sort of troubles from before, from afar, of course, but.
It was a good introduction to what it was going to be like then, really, wasn't it?
It was a good introduction, I'd say.
But you must be so pleased with how it's gone. I mean, I think you've missed one game, in the last season, being in everyone this year. So in terms of as a young player getting games under your belt, you must be really pleased with how it's been going.
Yeah, really pleased. Like you said, as a young player, I think that's one of the main things. It's just game time. You're never going to be 10 out of 10 every game, and every game's a learning curve. You have different battles, especially in this league. It's a tough league, and for me as a centre half, you come against all different strikers. A lot of them are sort of bruisers, if you like, the strikers. So it's good, and I've been learning on the job, if you like. And the more and more I play, I find sort of not the easier it gets, but sort of the easier I seem to be able to deal with certain things on the pitch and off the pitch. So it's been really good, and that's what I come to Southend to do, is to play first team football, and luckily so far I've managed to do that.
And we're talking about sort of mental health today and how important it is. And take the football out of it. It's been a tough time, hasn't it, to be a Southend United player in the last few months. And you've all had to sort of stick together and form really sort of close friendships, really. Outside, take football away from it. It shows how together you all are to get through the tough times.
100%. I think sometimes people forget that footballers are humans, and we are sort of. It hasn't been a nice situation, like you said, and it's been tough. I think if I can recall, sort of the lowest low was York away. I feel like everyone was sort of at a low then, and it was almost like, when is this going to end? But like you said, when you've got that sort of team and management team go and you go into them every day, it's a massive lift. All the boys are just so positive. It's kind of one of them, you don't really know how we've got through it, but when you look back, you'll kind of laugh at it.
Well, you have to, don't you? Otherwise, you'd probably cry, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, I know Ralphie and JD said you could write a book on the things that have happened while they've been there, and I feel like I could as well. There's just so many things that have sort of happened, and you think, wow, that's mad. And to be honest, I think if people really did see what happened behind the scenes, they'd be even more surprised. And it's testament to the gaffer, I think, because it's not just the on-field things that he has to deal with. If it's not an on-field thing he has to deal with, it's something to do with the club. It's something else. So I know that management team are 24/7 all the time, and they are done really well with it. So I think just dealing with it mentally is getting each other through it, to be honest. And the teammates we have, and I know everyone says about the team how good it is, but it really is. The way they've recruited, and the boys, I know they look into what sort of lads they recruit quite a lot. So that's been a major sort of thing they've done really well, I'd say. So no, it's hopefully on the up now, and everyone can see light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's taking a little bit longer than we all want it to happen, if you like, but we'll get there.
Yeah. So how did you bounce back from York? Because I should have known better than to ever not write this team off, but to worry. Because I remember coming back that day. That's the lowest I've ever been in years and years and years of following Southend, and I just thought, everything that could go wrong did go wrong that day, didn't it? And I just thought, I don't know where this goes from here. And I think we had a midweek game a couple of days later. We won, played really well, and I was just sort of blown away. So how do you go from that to such a good performance? Or is that just because you're professional footballers and you just do it?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it's sort of typical of the team, isn't it? When you get to the lowest low, we seem to bounce back. And that's been the sort of thing for the last 2 years. And Gaffer's massive on sort of don't sink. And it's easy for us to think, it's easy for us to make excuses, but that's not going to get us anywhere, especially in the position we are. So I think we sort of just dug our heels in, and boys had to play positions. It was a little bit of a guessing game Monday morning, to be honest, because obviously Gus and Harry getting sent off, it was like, I'm the only fit centre half. So it was a sort of a guessing game and a little bit of banter on who's going to play centre half. But obviously Cav and JD come in and done really, really well. So it's just one of them. I think the boys, anywhere they get put, and every time they're on the pitch, they're going to give 100% for the bags and the boys and the management team. So I don't think there's any sort of shock at the way we bounce back. And I know we had a meeting yesterday. We had a meeting about stats, and if you looked at the stats for us this year, they're amazing. Like, we're the top 7 for pretty much everything, and the stats don't lie on a lot of things. You know, expected points, I think we was meant to be top, which is crazy when you think we've haven't had a full bench all year, and sort of the injuries and the suspensions are totting up, and we've had to change here, there, and everywhere. So, but it's just testament to the group, like you said. I think that is built within us now, and it's something that will stay with me, and I'm sure with all the other boys throughout the whole of their careers.
Yeah, we've got a few questions. Obviously, Kevin Mayer 2 years ago today that he was named Southend manager. So, Ollie, what's it like working under Kevin Mayer?
Yeah, really good. For me, especially personally, he understands me, not only as a football player, but off the pitch as well. And obviously about mental health and things, he's sort of, everyone's had their struggles, but when I have, he's been really, really good with me, and he's always speaking to boys one-to-one and about football and off-field issues. So he's just a really good manager and someone you want to play for and you want to do well for. And I think that makes a big difference when you've got sort of a personal touch with a manager, which I feel all the players do. It makes a huge difference. You know, you want to play for him. You want to, because at the end of the day, his job's on the line and it's in your hands, if you like. So when you've got that personal connection, he seeks out. He really does. He looks to help you both on and off the pitch, and that's all three of them. That's Benno and Daz as well. So it's credit to all of them. And listen, hopefully they're at Southend for many more years to come. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go on in their managerial career because of sort of how well they've done.
Yeah. The next one. What's been your favourite moment at the club so far?
Favourite moment at the club. I think that Notts County game at home for me, obviously scoring and just the atmosphere. Yeah. I feel like it was a really good atmosphere. The game, sort of everyone come away from the game with a buzz. We was on that unbeaten run. It was my first Southend goal, and I think sort of it was two really good teams going at it. And I feel like once we're sort of out of that embargo and we're under new ownership, and I feel like we have made it this year, but we're to a real sort of hard place to come. So hopefully there's many more of them nights under the lights, if you like.
It must be an incredible feeling coming, the support that Southend's got. I could make a dig about Colchester, but I won't put you in a difficult position. But the atmosphere and the amount of fans that they've got and everything like that, it must really sort of spur you on when you go out onto that pitch.
You can make it big happily. I don't mind. I'm with you. But no, it's amazing. You know, the fans, considering what they've been through, and I know it's been a really, really tough 5 or so years, being from, you know, fighting for League One playoffs to now National League having -10 and what else. But they don't stop. They're incredible, and it makes you want to, like I've said, there's loads of things that make you want to, you know, play well for Southend, and that's a major one. I think the fans, when you're playing in front of 6,000 every week and the following's amazing, you know, it makes a huge difference. It really does. And I know players in this league, they don't really like coming to Southend because they find it hostile. Yeah. And I know the fans make it really hostile. So every week, you know, they come in, their numbers. So it's a really good feeling. And I know there's League 2 and 1 teams that don't even get attendances like we do. So hopefully they can carry on rising under the new ownership, and hopefully the club can.
Yeah, and does that spur you on as well? When we mentioned the tough times previously, when you have that level of support and you might be feeling a little bit down or whatever, you go out and you see them, hear them, especially away from home, well, and at home as well. It just must really sort of lift you. And for those 90 minutes, at least, you can forget about the troubles that being at Southend brings.
100%. I think that's a massive thing. You know, when you actually play in the 90 minutes, it's time to forget about everything sort of that's going on, even out of your life. I think them 90 minutes is like work time, and it's a real pleasure, if you like, to play in front of the fans, and it really does spur you on, especially sort of before kick-off, you know, when we give them a clap and everything, and you hear it, it's really good. So it's a massive club to play for, and you know, I think Gaffer said it before, it's, you know, an honour to wear the badge, and you've got to earn sort of your stripes to play for the badge, I think, which I think a lot of boys have done in this sort of stint. So nice, it's really good.
Fantastic. I know that you're obviously hugely aware of mental health yourself. Obviously, I know you're brilliant with being an ambassador for us at Run Free, and your mum works for mine as well. So it's an association that you're sort of proud of, and it means a lot to you, doesn't it, with talking out about sort of mental health and helping people that might be struggling.
100%. I think it's a massive thing, and the Gaffer touched on it yesterday in his interview. It's a lot more spoken about this day and age, which is good, but it still needs to be spoken about more. I think, you know, that video, I don't know if you saw it, in Norwich.
Yeah, it was incredible, wasn't it? Yeah, it was so good.
Really, really good interview. Sorry, not interview, sort of video, little clip. And I think that summed it up, you know. You've always got to check on your mates, and it might be the one who's loudest in the room, or, you know, the one you least think. You never know what's going on in someone's life in the back of their head. So it's really good that obviously you're doing this and fundraising for Mind, and it's a really good charity, and I'm glad Southend are supporting it with the game tomorrow. But it's massive in life, not just football. I think it's all day life, everyday life. Everyone has their struggles within life, so it's a massive charity that is doing really well, and hopefully can keep on progressing.
Brilliant. That's superb. Great note to end it on. Thanks for your time, Ollie. All the best for tomorrow. Get us a goal. We need one.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Top man. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye-bye.